Right, everybody. It is the start of another week. I actually have Friday the 13th off again this week here coming up. So another, 3-day weekend. Well, it's supposed to be nice. But before further ado, let's get down to this horror games that need to happen. We already got a Friday. We already had Friday the 13th, the game. We've had Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game, and now later on this year in September, we are having the Halloween game, which I'm very, very excited about. Now, speaking of horror video games, particularly about horror video games based off of movies, what type of games should happen? Now, we've had a Nightmare on Elm Street back on, I believe it was I don't know if it was Commodore or what, and then there was a version of the Nightmare on Elm Street game on the NES back in the day. How about having a Nightmare on Elm Street game and like Elphonic do it? Be great because we can have like the different, if they can get all the rights to like the different films in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Could you imagine uh, having a map of Westing Hills from Dream Warriors? Oh, that'd be really cool. Of course, with these type of games, you don't really have the characters from the movies in the games. Particularly, Friday the 13th, they had like Fox, they had Shelly, they had Melissa from Part Seven. But wouldn't it be really cool to have like a Nightmare on Elm Street game along the lines of the Halloween game that's coming out, or Friday the 13th, or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that would be really, really fun. Just imagine, like the different areas you can have, like an Elm Street map, 1428 Elm Street. That would be really cool to see that. I think another great one would be like, if we can get movie characters in there, put Kincaid in there, put Nancy Thompson in there for a playable character, or someone we can call on, or something like that. Or maybe we could even have, let's see here. I'm not a big fan of Nightmare on Elm Street 4 or 5 and Freddy's Dead. But what about if we could get like um, Jesse or Lisa in a Nightmare on Elm Street game? That'd be really cool to see that happen. There's really not too many. I don't think any too many maps we can do. I think we can do like in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, like the shut down version of Weston Hills for like, which was the mental asylum, which would be really, really cool to do that aspect of it. Uh, Again, Weston Hills would be a perfect map to have going up and down, the hallways, into the rooms, stuff like that. What could we do with Freddy with the new technology? I mean, we could possibly have something to do with like the dream sequences where the players you're playing with start to doze off or something. You're in the real world, and then all of a sudden you get into the dream world and stuff like that. Just some really cool ideas for a Nightmare on Elm Street game. Now, the other game I have in mind, and I know the newest movie in the franchise just came out, Scream. How about a Scream video game? A lot of possibilities there. We can have the maps for Scream. We can have Woodsboro. We can have the Mocker House. We can have the Prescott House, Windsor College for a gameplay map. We could have the Hollywood set of Stab 3. We can have going back with Woodsboro for like Scream 4, Scream 5. Basically, was in Woodsboro. We can do different variations of Woodsboro. Scream 6 set in New York. That'd be really cool. Even with the newest movie, Pine Grove, Indiana. That'd be an awesome thing. Now, as for like ghost faces, how would that work? Because there's so many ghost faces because it's a different killer each movie. We can go ahead and you can select the different type of ghost faces that you want, like Billy or Stu or Mrs. Loomis, Mickey, Jill, Charlie, all those. You can have that. Of course, there really isn't many variations of Ghostface out there because the costume is pretty much the same. I know in the first film it had like a glitter effect, like in the very first film. They can go ahead and do something like that too. Uh, you can tweak it. You can even have, I'll show you, you can even have maybe the pumpkin ghost face. That'd be pretty cool. This was done by Stephen LaRousse Holiday. Very, very good thing. I knew when I saw this, I said I had to have it. So definitely did a great art print. He also did one that was like a caramel ghost face, like it was like all red. Get different variations of costumes for Ghostface, different colors, like a red, blood red costume. The different color masks. You can have maybe the green Ghostface mask. You can have the zombified Ghostface mask. Just go ahead and tune it all up. As for characters to play as, I can see maybe 6 or 7 playable characters. Somebody can play Ghostface, another one can play the potential, victims or survivalists. Again, it'd be really cool to get like some of the characters from the game, like a Dewey Riley or Gale Weather, Sidney Prescott, Randy, Kirby. I mean, you name it, man. It'd be really cool to see that done. And you would have to call the police, escape, whatever you want to do with all that. Because that's how basically these horror movie video games that have been done, like with IllFonic and stuff, they've done that. Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw, the new Halloween movie or new Halloween game that's coming out here later this year. I think Scream would be probably the next biggest one between that and Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I thought about another cool one. It probably might be a little bit hard to do, but how about a Psycho video game? That would be really cool. I don't know how that would actually play out, but we're talking about the first 4 films with technically there's only 4 films in the franchise, unless you want to count the remake with Vince Vaughn. But the 4 films that we got with Anthony Perkins, to me, those films are gold. They are they're gold. So I think it'd be really interesting to see a Psycho video game made. I'm not really sure what we can do there. Not really much with maps. I mean, you can have the Bates Motel. I mean, what else can you really do with a Psycho video game? What type of maps would you have? You would have to make up stuff for a map. I don't know about the radio station from Psycho for the beginning, but I mean, that would be really interesting. Maybe we can have 2 different versions of the Bates Motel and Bates House, where we can have the one from the current timeline and then the one from the past, like what you see in Psycho 4 before it was all pretty much aged and stuff. But it'd be really interesting. And then I'm thinking too about, what would be really cool would be to have, I don't know what other whole slasher franchise we can make into a video game. Because we already got Nightmare on Elm Street would be another good one. Scream, Psycho would be pretty interesting. I don't know how that would go. How about an It video game based on the Stephen King book? Particularly, you can have the version of the Bill Skarsgård or the Welcome to Derry, and then you can also have the version of the Tim Curry from the 1990 miniseries. That'd be really cool. How would that play out? That'd be really interesting. The different maps you can possibly have in that. The Barrens. You can have maybe the school. We can have. I mean, you name it. It'd be really interesting just to see what they could do with some of these. Yeah, I mean, horror video games, definitely some great stuff. The graphics and technology we got today, I mean, they would look phenomenal. Imagine what Freddy Krueger will look like with the updated graphics. Imagine, what Ghostface would look like, which we've already seen what they kind of look like with some of their counterparts. I think Freddy's in Dead by Daylight, and I know Ghostface is in that as well. But just think about having their own video game along the lines of the new Halloween game that's coming out, or Friday the 13th the game, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Imagine what they would look like. Imagine what the maps would be like, the objectives, the goals, and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. But yeah, I thought I'd come on here today just to talk a little bit about horror video games, basically based on movies, games that should happen. So yeah, without further ado, that's all I got for this live stream. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys have a great start to your week here. I know I got to the gym early this morning. I got up around 6 a.m. and hit the gym and feeling great. So without further ado, see you guys back here next time.